today I'm going to show you guys how to solve a misspelled aristocrat. Misspelled aristocrat is similar to a normal aristocrat cipher that you have, but it's just misspelled, like it's in the name. So in misspelled aristocrats, you will have words that will be spelt wrong but sound like actual words, or it would be words that are like, for example, it would have the same words but in a different combination. Okay, let's get started. So first we know this is a K1 aristocrat cipher, and it was received over bad connection, so that means there are some errors in it. So knowing that, that means it's misspelled. They won't necessarily say it's misspelled, but you can find it like that, which is pretty easy. So what I would look at right away is the DJ and DJK part. So usually 3-letter words with an apostrophe before the last letter is usually something like it's. And so in misspelled aristocrats, all of them won't be misspelled, but just like a couple or half of it will be misspelled. So that's another thing to note. Okay, so I went ahead and filled in all of the letters we knew. So now I can try to find another word with what we already know. So over here, I think this could be with. And I'm not sure if this is misspelled or actually with, but we can try it out. So if we have with, we have W, and then this doesn't make sense, right? So W and then two same letters, right? So that wouldn't really make sense, but in this case, that means we know it's misspelled, because the rest of it makes sense, but this certain word does not. So I think we can try we, because we has a similar sounding to just W-E, and we can see if that works. So we could put it in over here, and we would get HTE. So HTE, I think it was meaning actually the, but it's just spelled wrong. Okay, so next I would look over here and try to figure out what this word is. At first I thought it was ideas, but that wouldn't work because T and E is already taken. So I think we could try into, and again, I think this is a not misspelled word, but we can check and see if it works. So that means we have O over here. If it's over here, I think C would be F, and that would make sense. And then that means we have S over here and S over here. So it looks like it makes some sense, and since we do have its own, I think that clarifies that it does work. So over here I can see it's FO, and then we have to figure out what V is, and this would most likely be 4, and we can see if that makes sense. So over here, I think this could be U. I think U would work, because I think it actually meant O-U-R instead of with the H. That's like where the misspelled part is. It's not necessarily actually misspelled, but it's just misspelled in the certain context of the message. Okay, so what I see over here is I see U-S-S-E, and then I think this would probably have to be D. The reason, because like it would be something like, if you ignore the first U, it could be like used without the 2 S's, and that's what it kind of means, or used or rused, something similar to that. So I would just put a D in here and see if that works. So then we also have a D over here. This looks like it's defects, so I would put the C as M over there, and then we also figured out that D is over here and over here, and the only 3-letter word that I could think of is L. So like old and then something, and since it says old, I think this would have to be old age, unless it might be misspelled, but we can keep that for now and see if it works. So that means it would have to be laud age, but so it's misspelled to be actually be old age, and then that means we have an A, and then so it's false over here. And then over here we don't have anything like, okay, so we have the N, and then I think this would have to be K. The reason I think it's K is because it's actually trying to mean not, but it's spelling it with a K instead to make it misspelled. And then again, with misspelled words, like they won't like create a random word. They will if they are like in random order. For example, like whatever this word is gonna be, then they still will have an actual like word, but just it has to be descrambled. Okay, so I went ahead and filled in what we knew of the table. So we can see that this is probably the keyword because after this it's just continuing the alphabet, I believe, and so that means this would have to be B, C, D, and then this would probably have to be G, and then J over here. So that means we already figured out that this is brings, which I think makes sense. And then now we can just fill out the rest of the alphabet to see. And again, the keyword is not always required, so unless it explicitly says it is, so that's something to note. And you don't always have to fill the frequency table, only if you're really stuck and you need to do it, but other than that, you really don't need it at all. So then that means they're P, Q, and then V, X, and then Y. And do you see how the alphabet goes from like Z and then all the way to A, so it can kind of go like that. And then so that means this would probably be filaments. I think that would make sense. So that means it's mused. So the entire text is, we mused not take the faults of our, and then this is why, right? Because that's what we got. Youth into our old age, for old age brings with its own defects. So, and the keyword is filaments. I hope this video was helpful. Thank you for watching.